So let's go ahead and take a look at what they have done with patch 1.0.2, which came out on October 13th. The main feature right here is they added a sort button to the inventory and storage screens. So this way you'll be able to sort through your inventory and storage chest. Makes sense. So they made some changes with game balance and difficulty changes. They doubled base durability of most weapons and armors, doubled the duration and durability of all torches. This is a big one right here. So the mosquitoes in the grasslands will not spawn early game. So for a lot of players coming back into the game with a restart or new players, they've been having trouble with mosquitoes in the grasslands. They are no longer going to spawn in until you turn in that first super chip. Doesn't matter which super chip it is, it's just one super chip and then they will start spawning. Damage and HP for some of the early tier 2 creatures have been lowered a bit. Key thing right here is if you already got the Toxicology badge, it now provides only 90% gas damage resistance instead of full immunity. The Javamatic fight spawns less creatures in single player now to make it less difficult. Other changes that have been done: relocating a building will no longer be canceled if you stumbled into combat with a creature. This right here is awesome because I know, like, moving around the pallets full of weed stems or grass, when you're making a far trip and you get attacked and it goes all the way back to where it came from, this will no longer happen. So that is one that's been I've been waiting for a long time. BURG.L will now only give Artificer quests for items the player has not yet crafted. So that means we don't have to keep crafting items over and over and not know what to do with them except for put them in a chest and they become useless. Mant combo attacks no longer interrupt via perfect blocks. The Mant damage is slightly decreased. Quartzite and marble of all tiers now default stack to 99. Cannot be upgraded further via milk molars. Slight increase to stamina cost of staff attacks. Spiny water fleas now have a very small chance to drop pond moss when looted. Text chat messages filter for profanity. Edible mushrooms placed under a large mushroom in upper yard. Those are the small mushrooms that grow underneath the big ones that you can eat. The O.R.C EMP bomb applies a large damage over time to your orc creatures that are hit with it. Field station near the outskirts of the stump area has been moved into the stump itself for higher visibility and utility. You can now remove a Surveyor resource waypoint from inside the default map screen. No longer have to be at the Surveyor to do it. Slime mold light sources in the Firefly headlamp color has been desaturated a bit not to cast an overly lime green color on everything. I kind of like that overly lime green color. I mean, you're using slime mold and fireflies, which are green glowy things. Getting 100% on a game report card requires completing all of the mixers now. Here are the crash fixes that they have fixed for crashes. Makes sense. Fixed crash that could happen if a creature is looted or despawns while an attack with visual effects was about to play. I may have read that wrong, but Fixed crash that could occur when taming a pet. Reducing out-of-memory crashes when loading a save. Here are the major bug fixes. Xbox and Windows Store players can rename storage chests again as long as their profile allows user-generated content to be shown. If you progress beyond the story of receiving the Embiggingcell but did not get it for some reason, the game will grant it to you on the next load of the save. If you progress to the story point where you needed to interact with the Javamatic but the game will not let you, the game will fix up the quest state of your next load of the save. Loading an early access save will no longer trigger the Analyze a Pebble, Analyze Raw Fiber quest if you have already done so. Fixes 1.0 saves that are stuck with the quest as well. Players will no longer disconnect from multiplayer after being online for 4+ hours. Doors at player bases will properly have the door open state synced, and the open state was changed while client are away. Wolf spiders will more reliably sleep during the day. Addressed some cases where you could not get 100% on the game report card. Here are some of the other fixes. They fixed it where creatures won't be stuck in the terrain as much. Optimize the Mantis Pollen attack for low and medium quality settings to include Xbox One. Pinch Whacker now properly classified as a club instead of an axe, no longer deals chopping damage. Prod Smacker now properly classified as a club instead of a greatsword, no longer deals slashing damage. The Got to Peep Them All achievement no longer requires having all gold cards. Jack-o'-lantern will no longer spawn on the porch during October if you have any base buildings in the way. So if you put a base there in the corner of the porch, you will not get the jack-o'-lantern. Poison immunity has been re-added back to spiders, as that was not supposed to have been removed. So what that's saying is if you try to hit a spider with a poison weapon, it will not have effect on them. Backpacks that drop near the car batteries in the upper yard will be teleported to safe location nearby to prevent them from getting stuck in instant death locations. The workout monitors in the pond biodome will correctly turn on after opening the biodome instead of turning in the super BURG.L chip. You can no longer nab items through windows or walls. Your character name should no longer rarely show up over your own character. The text filter in the crafting menu will be applied correctly after changing tabs or crafting an item. Placement of a SAP Catcher provides better control over placement angle. Buildings will now actually display their defense values in the building interface. Items will now actually display their stun values in the description boxes. Mantis armor crit effects no longer sometimes apply themselves to the player. Bomb arrows now cost stamina to shoot like every other arrow. The sour battle axe now properly considered an axe. Non-diagonal buildings can now snap to diagonal rotations at specific angles. Fix various terrain and foliage in floating dirt issues. Loading an early access save will not reset drop player backpacks. This is not retroactive for any playthrough that has already been made progress on 1.0 from an early access save. Fix some audio volume issues that would cause abrupt music stoppage. Using photo mode no longer scales up creature damage. Mutations on old saves will properly sync to their correct unlock level based 1.0 value changes. Depositing partial stacks into the containers now works correctly. That is what the patch 1.0.2 has done as of October 13. Go ahead and leave questions and comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And if you guys like this type of content, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. We would really appreciate it. And as always, you guys have a great time out there exploring your backyards. Enjoy the journey. And I am Magic Flying Potato and I am out.